Hello and welcome to MATLAB course. This is Sam. In this video I'm going to talk about the if statement in MATLAB. And before going to the if statement, we should know that in the if statement we should check some condition. And to create condition, we can use the logical operation. And if we have the condition, so we have two possible for the answer. The first one is true or 1 or false or 0. So the true, it is 1 and false mean 0. And for the logical operation, we use the following operation. We use, for example, the less than, for example, a less than b, less than or equal, like a less than or equal b, greater than, like a greater than or equal b, greater or equal, like a greater than or equal b, equal, which mean two equal sign, for example, a equal b, or not equal, like that, like the equivalent sign plus equal, we should use both, and for example, a not equal b. And if we need to check more than one condition, for example, two condition or more, we should use and or or. So the and or both check multiple condition, two or more. For example, here in the case of and, a less than b and c equal d. And in the case of or, for example, here a less than b or c equal d. And for more details about the logical operation and the meaning and what is the output, please check the previous video about the logical operation in MATLAB. And for the if statement, we have three stage or three types of the if statement. The first one is if end, the second one is if else end, the third one is if, else if, else and end. Let's check the first one, which is if end. In the if end, we have if, and then we have the condition. We just talk about the condition and we use the logical operation to create the condition. And as we know, the condition have to output true or 1, false or 0. So we have the condition, and if the condition is true, this part of the code will be executed if it's true and then go to end. But what if the condition is false? So this part will not be executed and directly go to end. So if true, this part will execute first and then go to end. If false, this part will not be executed, just go to end. The second type, which is if, else, end. So we have if condition, and the if condition has two outputs, true or false. If the if condition output is true, it means this part will be executed and then go directly to the end. So this part will not be executed after else. But what if the if condition output was false? So if the output for if condition is false, this part will be executed and then go to end. So finally, this one or this one will be executed, only one of these two. In the third case, we have if with condition number 1, and then else if with condition number 2, and then else and then end. So we check the first condition, and if the first condition output is true, it means that this part will be executed and then go to the end without considering these two parts. What if the first condition is false? So he will go to the second condition and check, and if the second condition is true, so it means this part will be executed and after that it will go to end. So what if the first condition is false and the second is false, so both condition is false. In that sense, this part will be executed if both the first and second condition is false, and then go to end. So this example is for if end. So if A equals 20 and B equals 350. The question is if B greater than A. So B is equal to 350 and A is equal to 20. So if 350 is bigger than 20, this question have a true answer because yes, that B is greater than A. If this is true, so the inner part will be executed. So they will execute that part. Display means that it will print the output or print what inside the parentheses on the screen. So display would print this part on the screen. So they will print B is greater than A and then go to end. And after that, after finishing, there is another print or display function, say print finish the if statement. So the output from this, it will be first this sentence, which is B is greater than A, and then finish if statement, which means that display this part. Let's consider the second example. In this example, A is equal to 150, B is 30, C is 100. The question is, if A is greater than B and C is greater than A, this is two conditions. And to have a true output, both conditions should be true because this is AND. Let's check the first condition. So the first condition is say that A is greater than B. So A is 150 and B is 30. So 150 is greater than 30, it means the first part is true. For the second part, we said that C is greater than A and C is 100 and A is 150. So 100 is greater than 150, that's false. So the output from that part is false. True and false mean false. False means that this part will not be executed and directly go to the end. So we will not print this statement. And after end, we continue as normal. And to continue, we have display finish if statement. So based on that, the answer will be only print finish if statement because we didn't executed this part of the code. In this example for the score of the student and the pass score. For example, this is the score the student have, which is 35, and the pass score is 45. So the if statement say that if the score of the student is greater or equal the pass score, it means that the student got exactly the pass score or higher than that, we should display that the student is passed. Else, we will display the student is failed. Let's evaluate. So the student score was 35 and the pass score was 45. The question is 35 is greater or equal 45? The answer is false. And because it's false, we should execute the else part. So we will display student failed and then go to end. So the output from that code is student failed. Let's consider the next example. So for this example, the temperature is 20 and the rain is 1. And the question for if the temperature is greater than 30 or the rain equal 1, we should kind of print weather is advisory. So we should check the weather, else it is safe weather. So let's check the condition. Temperature is 20. Does 20 is bigger than 30? No, this is false. For the second one, the rain is equal 1. So 1 equal 1, that's true. So the first part is false, second one is true, but because this is OR, so false or true, it means the output is true. If statement is true, it means that we should execute the first part. So we will execute this part and go to the end. To execute this part, it means we are going to display weather advisory on the output. So the answer is weather advisory. Let's check this example. In this example, this is if, else, and end. The question is, we are going to give a equal to 0, any value, and we are going to check if a is bigger than 0, so display this is positive number. Else if a less than 0, it means display negative number. Else it means this is 0. So let's evaluate. A equals 0. So if a greater than 0, this is the first condition, but a is 0, not greater than 0, so the output is false. If false, we will skip this and go to check the next one. So the next condition say if a, which is 0, less than 0. So if 0 less than 0, this is false condition. If false, we will not execute this and directly go to else, and in the else we are going to display 0 and go to end. So the output for that will be 0. For this example, we have a value for x is equal to 10, and the minimum value is 2, and the maximum value is 6. And the question is, if x is greater or equal minimum value, and x is less or equal maximum value, so display or print value within the specific range. And the second one, else if x is greater than the maximum value, so print value exceed the maximum value, else display value is below the minimum value. So let's evaluate. So this code is kind of giving a range and check is this value inside or maximum or minimum the range. So if the value is 10, so here they ask 10 is greater or equal the minimum. The minimum is 2. Is x is greater or equal the minimum? Yes, x is greater or equal. So the first part is true. And the second one, x, which is 10, and the maximum value is 6. Is 10 is less or equal 6? This is false. So the first part is true, and the second is false, and this is and. So the output is false. False means we will not execute this part. So we will skip the first part and then check the second if. So the second if, it say that if x is greater than the maximum value, if is 10 and the maximum value is 6. So is 10 is greater than 6? That's true. If this is true, we will execute this part and then go to end. So we will print value exceed the maximum value and then go to end. So the output for this code will be value exceed the maximum value and then end. Let's practice. So in this question, it asks what is the code output for the following value of x. So we will give x equal 10, x equal minus 2, x equals 3, and then follow this code which say if x is greater than 3, so the y is x squared plus 5, so we will estimate the value of y and then display y value was estimated and then end the code and then display enter the next x. So we promote the person to change the next x value. So we need to check for the 3 cases with 10 case, minus 2 case, and 3 case. Let's try here first and then go to MATLAB to check. But you can pause the video now to try by yourself before I will try. So let's start with the case with x is equal to 10. So if x equal to 10, so if 10 is greater than 3, that's true. True means that we will estimate the y value and then we will display y value was estimated. So we will print that one and then go to end. After end, we will display enter next x. So the output from this part should be y value was estimated and then enter next x. Let's check. Yes, for the first case, we have the 2 sentence was printed. Let's check for the second case. If the x is equal to minus 2, so if minus 2 is greater than 3, this is false because minus 2 is not greater than 3. If false, it means this part will not be executed and directly go to the end. After the end, we will display enter next x. So the output, it will be only enter next x. For the third case, we have x equals 3. If 3 greater than 3, that's false because 3 equals 3, not greater than 3. If false, this part will not be executed. Directly go to the end and just print enter next x. So the value for or the output for this code in the case of x equals 3 will be enter next x. So let's go to our code to check how this will happen in the MATLAB. I open MATLAB. I have a live script which having this equation, which is live script 10. And let me minimize this window using the minimum, or just I create a layout for my case which having only live script. And in the case of live script, so this is the first part for the logical operation. We tested that in the previous video. And now we have in the if statement. And this is the following code. So we are going to change the value of x to 10, minus 2, and 3, and test these three cases. Let me copy the code and then paste here. And then let me try the first value of 10 for the x. And then run the code. So x equal to 10. So because 10 is greater than 3, so we are going to print y value was estimated and then enter next x. So let's change this 10 to minus 2 and run the section. And because minus 2 not greater than 3, so this part was skipped and only consider this part. So we only have enter next x. And the last value for x is 3. So 3 and then run the section. It will be, because 3 not greater than 3, it will be just enter next x. But what if I need to write the code by myself, not copy and paste? Let's try. So for example, if x equal to minus 3, enter. And then I write if and give a space. And if should be highlighted in blue. And then I will write x is greater than, and then 3. And then press enter. If you check, I just press enter. And here the end was enter automatically for me. So this is because like that, this is live script. Maybe in the editor or the command window, you need to write the end by yourself. And you can see there is kind of indentation. Indentation means that this is for visualization. So they kind of shift the code inside to understand that this part of the code is inside the if statement. So we will execute or skip based on is it true or false. So we are going to write y equal to x to the power 2 shift plus 5 and semicolon to suppress the output, and then we are going to write display, and then we are going to write inside that one like y value was estimated. And after finishing, after end, I will press enter and then write display and then enter next x. Let's run this code with x is equal to minus 3. This is a new value. Run, just run. And because minus 3 not greater than 3, so this part was skipped. But if I change it again to, for example, 5, which is greater than 3, run the section, we will have post printed because this part was executed. And if I write here display and then the value y and then run the section, it will show the value of y, which is 30, because 5 to the power 2 is 25 plus 5 is 30. So we can also display the value of y if we wish to do that. And if I go to the command window to check the same code in the command window, so let me click the command window and let me maximize the command window a little bit so I can see this code. And in the command window, I need again to write x equal to, for example, 12. And suppress the output and then enter, and then write if, and then x is greater than 3. This is the code. Enter. Please see the difference. In the command window, there is no indentation. It just write the code without any indentation part. So just writing. And here I will write y is equal to like x to the power 2 shift plus and then 5, and then I will not suppress the output. I will just keep it and then press enter and then display, and then I will write inside that one y value was estimated and then close, and then press enter and then press end, and now I press end. Please write that the end was highlighted and then press enter. And once I write the end and press enter, it means that this part was finished. So he showed the value for y for me, and then he printed because 12 is greater than 3. So please note that writing the code in the command window is different from writing the code in the live script. And then if I write just display and then write enter, next x, if I just print, because display is printing, it will print. So what if I just open the normal script file? For example, I can create new, for example here from home, like new script or new script here. If I click new script, this is a script file. Let me dock the command window here. And let me maximize a little bit so you can see the difference. And let me here in this script, let me write again x equal to 12, suppress the output, and then enter, and then write if, and then x is greater than 3, enter. So you can see here, we have indentation here. So you can see that we have indentation. So the script or the live script both give you indentation. But the difference is in the live script, the end was entered automatically, but here you should write by yourself. So I will write display, first estimate the value of y. So y is equal to x to the power 2 plus 5, and then display, and then write y value was estimated, and then enter. And because I need to go a little bit not in the indentation, I should press back, kind of delete. So I delete and write end, and now it highlighted that the end was finished, and then display, and then I can write enter, next x value, and then close. And because this is a script file, we should save before run. So if I click just run in the editor, run, he will ask where to save the code. I can say just write the name is code and save here in download, save. So I save the code, and the value shown here, please notice that here the value of y from the, let me little bit go. So this is the if statement when I wrote it in the command window, and the output for y was 149, and we print y value estimated because the code is executing. And here, this is the code name because we named this file as a code. So this is the code we run, and then the y output is 149, and the y value estimated, and then print enter next x because this is the output for us. So now we understand how to write the if statement in like the command window, in the script file, in the live script file, and let's go back to the live script to check the next example. Let me just take the maximum window to check the live script, and this is the next question. So the next question is, this is just a question from our life. So it say that a rental car shop estimate the cost of the rent based on the time t, the time which I rent a car in hours, and the distance d in kilometer as follows. So the cost will be 4,320 yen if the time of the rental is less than or equal 6 hours. And the cost will be 6,000 plus d multiplied to 20 if the time between is greater than 6 and less or equal 12. And in the third case, the cost will be 10,000 plus d multiplied to 10 if the time is greater than 12. The question is, estimate the rental cost for the following cases. The case number 1, if the time of the rent is 5 hours and the distance we walk was 45 kilometers. In the second case, the time is 8 hours and we use the car for 100 kilometers. And the third is 12 hours and we use the car for 300 kilometers. So in that sense, we should define in the beginning is t and d as a variable. So we can say t is equal to, and in this case 5. Of course we can suppress, and then the d is equal to, and in the first case 45, we will suppress. Now we finished the input of the two things which controlling the cost equation. And I'm going to ask, the first is if, and in the first case t is less than 6. So I need to ask if t as an input less or equal, and the value is 6. So if t is less or equal 6, press enter, and in that sense I will have the condition is the cost will equal to 4,320. Enter. I need to print that cost so I can display the statement which say the rental cost is, and then enter and write display, and then show the cost itself. So the cost will be printed here. But here write if end. I don't need to write end. I need to write still else if, because we still have another condition. So I will print enter and then go back and then write else if. Once you finish else if, it turn it to blue because this is condition, and write the second condition. And because if this condition was failed, it means that t is bigger than or greater than 6. So we don't need to write the first part. We only need to write the second part with t is less or equal 12. So I can write if t is less or equal 12, what will happen? Else if, in that sense, the cost will be equal to 6,000 and then plus, and then d multiplied to 20. After estimating the cost, I need to print the same. So I can just copy and paste, just display the rent cost is, and then display the cost. Press enter. Still, this is not the end. We need to write else, the third condition. And if we write else and press enter, it means that if this condition is not true, and this condition is not true, so the rental car is not less or equal 6 hours, or not between 6 or greater than 6 and less than or equal 12. So it means this is the third case, which is t is greater than 12. We need to write this 10,000 plus d multiplied to 10. So the cost in this case will be equal to 10,000 plus d multiplied to 10. And then just print the display rental cost and display the cost, and we finish now. So this is the input we have. Just let's run the code for the first case and check what will be the output. So we run the code, and because the rent time was 5 hours, it means less than 6. So the cost it will be 4,320, and the cost for the rental cars is 320. And of course I can suppress the estimation of the cost So we don't need to check the cost unless it's printed. So run again. And now because I suppress the cost which estimated, I only can see the rental cost is 4,320. In the second case, if t equal to 8 and the distance we walk is 100 and run the code, so in that sense, the 8 hours is the second case, which is mean less than or equal 12. So it means that it should be 6,000 plus, this is 8. The distance we walk here was 100. So it means 100 multiplied to 20, it means 2,000. 2,000 plus 6,000, it means 8,000. So this is a total rental cost at 8,000. In the third case, if we have the rental time is 12 and the distance was 300. So in this case, the t is 12. So this is my question for you. Which case? It should be this case. It means that is t is less than or equal 12 or this case. Of course, because t is 12, so this condition is true because t is equal to 12 in this condition. So they will use this statement. So it means that the cost will be 6,000 plus the distance it walk is 300 multiplied to 20, it means like the 6,000. So 6,000 plus 6,000, the total rent should be 12,000. If I run the code, so the total cost is 12,000. If I just write here 13 hours, 13 hours is more than this case. Please also note that they try to link the case with the condition here. So we take here from here. Let's run the code again. So they move the condition in this part because in that part they estimated from here. So if t is 13, it means that it is not less than or equal 6. It's not or less than or equal 12. It is greater than 12. So the cost will be 10,000 plus, and here the distance is 300 kilometers multiplied to 10. It means that 3,000 plus 10,000, it will be 13,000. So now we understand the concept for writing the code. And if we just take this code, Control C, and go to the command here, and just Control V, and if we maximize the window, and then maximize the command window, and let's clear CLC to clear. And let's run this code. So now we have the same things. The t is 13 hours. So we go in the third case, which is this case, and the cost estimated as 13,000. So the rental cost is 13,000. So to sum up, in this video, I just explained 3 cases for the if. The first one is if end, and the second one is if else end. The third one is if else end. And for the 3 cases, please check where to execute and where to skip. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye bye.